Hey guys, today we're going to be analyzing the ranked speedrun world record by Loki. And the first thing you'll notice here, before he even enters the seed, is that he's not playing for world record. You see, he's playing a shipwreck seed, you can see from the 3 bread here, he's in the ocean, still in a boat at 128, so you could probably imagine he's just practicing for playoffs. He's not really playing for specifically world record. And so you'll see here, look, he sees this rune portal, and he sees this pig right here, and instead of choosing to run down here, right, run to the left and go to the rune portal, he's thinking to himself, if I was in playoffs, I wouldn't want to waste any time, and so it might be the correct decision to just jump down here, take a little bit of full damage, even though, you want to be minimizing your damage as much as possible in a speedrun. He probably sees the pig, which is important because the pork chop is actually a really good food source, and so he won't have to worry about taking that little bit of full damage because he can just heal it up with the pork chop, and he ends up saving time. So after he does his menuing here, which is really fast by the way, he angles his mouse to the left. So I was thinking about this, and I came to the conclusion that the reason why he did this is because he didn't want to overshoot this jump. He wanted to jump on to the edge of this block and then kind of fall down from there so that he minimizes his fall damage. Because if you're jumping from here, then you're at the peak of your jump, going all the way down here, you're going to take a lot of full damage. So maybe to save that half a heart or whatever, he wants to angle his mouse to the left and just fall off of the edge of this block. But it doesn't actually work out for him, which causes him to lose 8 hearts? 3 hearts, I mean, which isn't that bad. Because right here, what he gets is a looting 3 sword, which is really nice. And he chooses, instead of going to these trees and then going back here and killing the pigs, he knows that this is just a really nice line. He can kill these 2 pigs and run up here, or maybe kill these 3 and run all the way up here. And it's just really, really nice routing. And there's a chance that if you don't kill the pigs before doing anything else, then there's a chance that they can, wander away, sort of wander around, maybe over here, maybe he wanders around over here, and it just interferes with your routing. So usually on these rune portal seeds, Loki, he wants to be killing the mobs just as fast as possible, before he, does anything else on the seed. Before he even, starts completing the rune portal, he just wants to kill these pigs. And he gets 7 pork chop here, which for a lot of people would be enough, but he's probably thinking here, I could get like 3 or 4 or 5 pork chop from the 3rd pig, which would just mean that I don't have to worry about food or, pearling or anything, taking damage for the rest of the run. But he ends up getting 1 pork chop, which is a little bit unlucky, but that's probably why he made that decision. And you'll see here with this crafting, I've paused here because he makes a bit of a mistake. What you usually want to do here is you want to shift click your planks so that they go immediately in your hotbar and you can start crafting table and sticks. But he only crafts 4 planks and he still has this oak log right here. And I noticed that he reacts so quickly to this. He places his log here in place of the planks so that he's able to craft the remaining 4, and then he just immediately goes back to really quickly crafting his table and sticks. And these 54 iron nuggets give you 6 iron. So you may be wondering, is he going to make shears here? Is he going to make an iron axe? And you'll see that after he, muscle memory crafts these sticks before the iron, which I do on pretty much every rune portal seed as well, so I can't blame him. He makes an iron axe. And so the reason why I think he does this is because if he crafted shears, he would have to go all the way down, you know, with his iron shovel, get a stone axe, and then go all the way back up, and then start mining these logs, go all the way over here to this tree, use the shears on all of the leaves to get blocks, and like, yeah, you get, you know, a few extra blocks which could help you in the nether, but it just wastes so much time. And if you notice at the start of this run, there is a gold block on this rune portal. So if he does actually end up needing more than, you know, 51 planks here, he can just use this gold block to make a golden pickaxe. Or multiple golden pickaxes, which is just 32 netherrack in less than 2 seconds. And so entering the nether here, you will see two things. You'll see that the Bastion pretty much loads in instantly. Like, this is like, we can go frame by frame here. I mean, this is just... as soon as he loads into the nether, he gets the spike. And so he's looking around here, and he knows that it is just right in front of where he spawned in. So you'll notice that the Bastion loaded in instantly. And you'll also notice that his Y level is 93, which is really, really high up. That's like 30 blocks away from the nether roof or whatever. And he's probably thinking to himself, he might be like really low down, you know, like Y40, he might have to go up here maybe, looking for some kind of terrain to get him up to the Bastion. But what he does when he looks up here trying to find some higher terrain is that this netherrack is just really sort of flat on the roof. And this kind of tells him that this is the nether roof right here. Like, this is very unusual terrain generation. So this might have been what told him that he was at like Y90. But he continues to sort of look around in, you know, this left direction, and he ends up not seeing anything. You know, you want to be looking for some kind of terrain on these ranked seeds, but he chooses not to, and instead he chooses to dig down. Usually you don't want to be digging to the Bastion, but since he knows that it again loaded pretty much instantly, it's gonna be like, you know, right here. It's gonna be like so close to him. And so he decides to go towards the Bastion as close as he can, right? This block is probably the closest that he's getting towards the Bastion. And he ends up finding this terrain here, which is really, really nice, because if he would have mined, you know, maybe a few blocks back, just randomly decided to dig down, then he might have not found this terrain. And choosing to mine as close as he can towards the Bastion gives him, you know, the chance of just the terrain opening up like this, and finding this Bastion here. So that was a really nice play from him that you might not have noticed, where he chooses to dig down. And he sees here that this is housing. So the first thing he wants to do is he wants to loot the chests. And something that you can do here, if you shift, then you can place these 2 blocks, you know, without landing on the ground. So just, if you drag click or maybe butterfly click, you can place these 2 blocks really, really quickly. And so you'll see that he loots these chests right here. 2 gold, this is really nice. Mines this chest to anchor the piglins, because he doesn't see any piglins anywhere. And he places this wooden plank here. So this is something that you might not have picked up on if you're maybe a little bit new to the game. But if you place a wood plank here, it means that you can do a head hitter. And so that just saves him a little bit of time getting down to this lower part of the Bastion. And he chooses to split his gold here. He chooses not to throw out all 19, but to just throw out 10 of his gold. And the reason why he does this is because, yes, you want to be overlapping, trading with the piglins, with just mining this gold up here, but you also want them to get into the trading hole as fast as possible. And so, if you don't distract them with too much gold, then when he gets down here, and he toggles to hard, then you can see that all of these piglins just come in pretty much instantly as he throws this gold. And another just really small micro thing that he does in this bastion is he mines this block while he's like walking backwards, and so that's a little bit of an overlap of walking towards the piglins here. Just very small micro things that he's practiced probably hundreds of times, and it just makes this bastion so fast. You can see he slashes fire res so that he doesn't have to do it later, because he just has this fire res in his hotbar, very convenient. He's very attentive, being able to just notice that and make that really quick decision. Throwing out everything he doesn't need, looting this chest, and what he decides to do here is he actually forgets that he has a looting 3 sword, and so he puts this stone, this black stone, into his hotbar. Instead of using the gravel to build up, he's specifically putting this black stone into his hotbar because he wants to make a stone sword. Usually, when you're in the fortress killing blazes, it is faster to hit them once with an axe and then with either a stone or iron sword, instead of hitting them twice with the iron axe. So that's why he makes this decision here, and also why he decides to make the blaze bed while the piglins are trading. But he throws it out after he realizes that he doesn't need it because he has looting 3. And he has a lot more gold to trade here, so he's thinking the best thing that he can do here is to pearl hang to the fortress. So what he does here is, instead of just pearling from like over here, he sees that he has all this netherrack above him, and so he wants to be going like to this block, like the furthest block that he can from where he is, because that just gives you better sight towards this plane of netherrack over here, or whatever you call it, like bit of terrain and netherrack, and he pearls in a very specific way to get just the best pearl that he can. He pearls so that he doesn't hit this ceiling, but he's just barely like below it, and so this is going to give him the most height, the most distance to land as far as he can on here, so that he can pearl up to the fortress. So really nice pearl hang here, and he just has all of his trades here, keeping some gold so that he can make gold pickaxes, which is really nice in the endgame. And you'll see that he has this blaze bed in his hotbar, but he actually doesn't need it because of the looting 3. He's just hoping that he can kill these blazes in like 2 cycles, maybe lower his render distance, maybe find like a couple of strays, and then that's just going to be his entire force split. So he throws out his sticks here. Someone pointed this out in the comments of this video. They were like throwing out sticks to craft sticks, which is just a little bit of a small mistake from him here. And he chooses with this gold pickaxe that he's crafted to mine out these 3 blocks. He doesn't want to mine out the entire spawner, but just these 3 blocks. This can like very slightly boost the amount of blazes that spawn, so it's a little bit more consistent. And building up with this gravel here, starting to build his blind portal, but he sees that, you know, he has 2 blazes here. This is probably going to be, or 3 blazes actually he sees, which is going to be just all of the rods that he needs, most likely. Which he gets 5 here, kills this blaze, and gets 9, which is really nice. And he jumps onto the obsidian that he's placed here already, that he's kind of pre-placed, which just allows him to craft this blind portal as fast as possible. crafting 15 eyes here, because he just has so many pearls, it doesn't really matter how many he crafts. And throwing this here, he doesn't have to pick it up, it's because he has so many. So he's just able to instantly go back in. And you'll see here, it is 764 blocks away. So this is maybe like one really long pearl and then one, you know, shorter pearl, and then you're just there. So instead of pearling up to this higher terrain, which would maybe give his pearl a little bit more distance, he knows that he's going to have to, you know, go down to this lower terrain anyway. So he decides it's just a better kind of decision to just pearl down here instead. And again, angling his pearl to get as much distance as possible. And since he has all this pork chop, all this health, he can really just spam his pearls getting to these coordinates. He knows he's like, you know, 13 or 12 blocks away. All he has to do is just throw a pearl like right here, and he's just on quartz. Right here, mining this. So this is a slight mistake, where he could have just placed the 2 obsidian here and then built the portal like that, but he chooses to mine down 2 obsidian, and because he has a gold pick, and build his portal like this, which I think it would be it would be a very, very minuscule time save if he just built it 1 block higher, but you know, maybe less than a second, but that is a way that he could have saved time here. But this is an incredibly fast, you know, end game, getting to the Stronghold from measuring his eye. I think it was like 25 seconds or something crazy. But yeah, he's doing preemptive here. He gets this spike, and he knows that this is 4:33. He just wants to be playing as fast as possible. He gets the spike, he instantly, I don't know why he goes into his inventory here. He instantly goes in this direction. I'm actually very confused. Why is he... Maybe he wants to put this, put these eyes on his hotbar? I'm very confused actually. But either way, he just instantly sees his portal room, pearls into it, very, very fast, fills in everything he needs to. He can just pearl here and rearrange his hotbar without having to do it, you know, in the portal room. He can just overlap that with his pearls, and he makes a little bit of a mistake here. Okay, what he does is he chooses to pearl onto the diagonal of this cage, which usually is fine, but what this does here is, since he's having to spend so much time in his inventory, he lands over frame by frame here. He actually lands on the just on the corner of this cage, and since his mouse isn't like angled all the way down here, he is just unable to clutch as high as possible, and so he's on 4 hearts. This is really scary. He has to just spam blocks and hold left on his mouse, on his keyboard. Just has to hold left on his keyboard so that he can clutch here. Just building up here, he's alternating soul sand and like a full block, because it saves, I think it's 1 tick every 2 blocks that you build up, so just giving him a little bit of extra time to pull off this zero cycle. He didn't have time to craft a bow, which usually would have been better, but this run was just so fast that he didn't have time to. And ends up getting this 3+2, a very nice 0, and instantly, after killing the dragon, he pearls and he mines this block below him. And what this does for him is that it just ensures that he cannot get hit by the dragon in any way. because he's just really low down and he's, you know, pearling down here. A good sort of muscle memory thing to have. And was able to finish this run. There's 2 pork chop to spare, and it's 5:30. It's so fast. You know, even though I've mentioned all of these like very small micro mistakes that he's made, this is, I cannot express how much of an insane run this is. Like, this is so fast, and huge respect to Loki for just grinding for so long, so consistently, and pulling off these crazy times, these sub-7s and now sub-6s. Go give Loki a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Let me know if you want me to do something like this in the future.